Anyways, oh wow, I'm excited, you guys. Drum roll, please. Got my black queen in the back here. She's gonna help me out just a little bit. If you guys don't know, I did a test with 23andMe. 23andMe is a company that basically goes back in your genealogy and traces your ancestry back to even thousands of years ago to tell you where your ancestors come from, basically. And my results came back about a month ago. It's just that I've been busy, and I've also, I think when they came back, I was on quarantine with COVID, unfortunately, so I wasn't really feeling the best. Wasn't really feeling making this video, but my results are in, and I think they're kind of interesting. If you think that this stuff is not accurate, I'm here to prove you wrong. So I will attempt to run through it as fast as I can, but a lot of these things are pretty interesting. So first I'm going to click on what says wake up time. Let's see. So underneath the wake up time tab, it says people with your genetics in their 20s wake up on average around 8:50 around 8:55 on their off days. I was just telling my mother the other day, I cannot sleep past 9 o'clock. That is so true. So I guess this thing is pretty accurate thus far. I'm more likely to naturally wake up earlier, which is true. It says adjust the tool below to see how your different genetics and age could affect your wake up times. Bunions. It's crazy how they get so deep into these things. Underneath the bunions tab, yes, I said bunions, like the bunions on your feet. Let's say, so based on my genetics and other factors, I am less likely than average to have a bunion. Great, let's move on because... So the next tab, it says asparagus odor detection. So, can you smell what I can smell? After eating asparagus, some people notice an unfamiliar odor in their urine. Wait, okay, we're not gonna cover that one. One of the tabs that interested me, disappointed me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, was the fact that I have more Neanderthal DNA than 1% of customers. Boo. We all know who that comes from. Anyways, I mean, it's Black History Month, so we don't really want to cover that. And lastly, the ability to match a musical pitch. And that's actually a tab under here. So underneath the tab that says ability to match a musical pitch, let's see if it's accurate. So based on your genetics and other factors, you are more likely to be able to match a musical pitch. That is very true. Because apparently my mother told me my grandmother can sing and her sisters can sing. And I got the gene. It skipped my mom. But I ended up getting the gene. So yes, I can hold a note if you didn't know. Alright, we're about to find out where the answers to them come from. I'm getting tired of hearing myself talk, so here we go. So, a full analyzation of my genetic composition. Here we go. Cool. So first of all, it says I am 82.9% sub-Saharan African. Of course, I'm a black woman. So I am 82.5% West African. I am 45.2% Nigerian. Of course. So I have 34.1% Ghana, Liberia, or Sierra Leone. And I assumed that I would get Sierra Leone or Congolese. I don't know how I just assumed that. That's just what I thought. And I have 0.4 Congolese and Southeastern Africa. Okay. So next up, after the African region, I am 15.7% European. Wow, look at God. So that means that I am 15% Northwestern European. Great. Moving on. 10.4% British and Irish. And I am also 0.7% broadly Northwestern European. And also 0.2 broadly European. So my trace ancestry, I'm not sure what that is. Let's see. So it says that they detected traces of the following populations in my DNA. So Cypriot, I didn't know what that was until, of course, I read up on it. As I scroll down the page, it gives me a breakdown of the Cypriot history that's in my blood. And it also has this cute little feature of a Greek word, of course, that my ancestors used to use or probably still use. And my word of the day is philoxenia. I don't know if it's philoxenia or philoxenia, but it literally translates to hospitality. That's pretty cool. All right, enough with the Cypriot business. Moving on. So, wow. I am 0.4 Cypriot, 0.4 Filipino and Austrian. Okay, that's interesting to me. And I'm also 0.1% North African. It's actually funny because for those who think that it's not real, and I've spoken to a couple of people about my results already, and the first thing that this one gentleman asked me was, what did they lie to you about now? And I'm thinking like, wow, this is really the mindset of black people. Like, this really sucks. Somebody else said, I don't really follow those things. I'm like, you don't really want to know where you come from? That's really a shame to me. But the way that I know this was accurate is because, look, it says here, of course, there's also 0.6 unassigned, and that might be where the Indian heritage comes from on my father's side. But anyways, the way that I know that this is accurate is down here under the recent ancestry in the Americas. They found the Caribbean. Guess what? My parents are from the West Indies. So here it says recent ancestry in the Americas from Western Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago. Both my parents are from Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, that's accurate. It says Barbados also is a likely match. I'm not sure who's from Barbados, but both my parents have been going back and forth about that. But Trinidad and Tobago, highly likely match. Yes, that's accurate. Absolutely. It also says that I have It also says that I have recent ancestry in Guyana. See, I've never heard that before. My mom was asking my father, is anybody in your family from Guyana? He's like, I don't know. So I'm a little bit lost about that one as well. And there's another way that I can tell that this is completely accurate is because I had no idea she took this test around the same time as me. So when I clicked on the tab underneath DNA relative lists, guess who shows up as one close relative? Right here it says Jessica, half-sister, 21.63 DNA shared, 36 segments. That is my half-sister. I literally just saw her like an hour ago. Yes, we have the same dad, different mom. But my half-sister took this test recently, and she showed up as my half-sister. I did not put her on my family tree. I did not put her on my 23andMe. How many relatives do I have in Georgia, you guys? Let's see. So I have 26 relatives that live in Georgia that tested with this 23andMe kit. Wow. So I have fourth cousins and third cousins and fifth cousins. This is so cool. Oh, wow. I'm not going to pull this picture up, you guys, but this lady is my fourth cousin. She looks like a Karen. So we're not going to talk about her. Here, it lives in Alabama. Wow. These people are so beautiful. Oh. Brief look on the people that I'm related to, my relatives. You can kind of see some of their faces. I don't want to zoom in, because of their privacy. I don't want to invade their privacy and zoom in. Even if you think it's going to be inaccurate, I would definitely encourage all of you to take this test because you never know who would want to speak with you. As you can see, I've gotten a lot of notifications from the people that I'm connected with, like my second and third cousins. I've gotten messages from Baktawals and all types of peoples and names that I've never heard of before. So I would definitely recommend you guys take this test. And I almost forgot to mention the most amazing part of my DNA composition. You guys are going to want to hear this quickly. So, underneath the maternal haplogroup tab, it says that I descend from a long line of women that can be traced back. I descend from a long line of women that can be traced back to Eastern Africa over 150,000 years ago. So these women are of my maternal line, and my maternal haplogroup sheds light on their history. But hear this. So, my maternal haplogroup is L1C1D. If you want to Google it, go ahead and Google it. It's up to you guys if you don't want to. But what that means, basically, it says that as our ancestors ventured out of Eastern Africa. They branched off in diverse groups that crossed and recrossed the globe over tens of thousands of years ago. Some of their migrations can be traced through haplogroups, families of lineages that Some of their migrations can be traced through their haplogroups, families of lineages that descended from a common ancestor. My maternal haplogroup can reveal the path followed by women of my maternal line. Okay, so this is the truth that a lot of people don't want to hear. So, my haplogroup starting with L, it says if every person living today could trace his or her maternal line back over thousands of generations, it didn't say some, it says all of our lines would meet at a single woman who lived in Eastern Africa between 150,000 and 200,000 years ago. Though she was one of perhaps thousands of women alive at the time, only the diverse branches of her haplogroup have survived today. I don't believe that she was one of the thousands of women alive. I believe she was the only one, because that's possibly the Eve gene, and I don't believe that she lived only 200,000 years ago. But that's just my personal opinion. I think that's the Eve gene, and she was the only woman that lived. They can't let her be great. right, girl. They can't let her be great, but that's okay. So the story of my maternal line begins with her, right? But catch this. So it says that I have the L1C1D. What that means is that my maternal haplogroup, L1C1D, traces back to a woman who lived approximately 30,000 years ago. And it says that 1 in 3,300 people who test with this company share the same haplogroup as me. So that means that I have a rare gene that dates back to a woman that lived 30,000 years ago. So I probably have the Eve gene, is what I'm trying to say. And it's so sad to know that people are so disconnected and don't want to know these things about themselves. It is so sad. My God, don't even know where you come from. Ugh, especially people who have been in the church probably will say that we're the descendants of Yahshua. Or we're the descendants of course, the Israelites. We are Israel, but that just lets me know who I'm a descendant of. I'm probably a descendant of Eve, or I'm probably a descendant of Yahshua. You never know. Well, you guys, that's it. That's it. So, yeah, that's what makes up my DNA composition. It was very intriguing to read about a lot of these things. I'm definitely going to go back and click on learn more underneath each tab that tells me which region of Africa I come from, any information that you want to know, how much it costs. If you would like to know anything, any questions or anything related to the test, even if it's completely irrelevant, feel free to ask.